Marcus Cole woke up in a world that was not his own. The last thing he remembered was the explosion at the research facility, the blinding flash of light, and then nothing. Now he stood in a vast empty space that stretched forever in every direction. The ground beneath his feet looked like glass, but it felt warm and alive somehow. A voice spoke from everywhere and nowhere at once. It was not one voice but many, speaking together in perfect harmony. The sound made his bones shake and his teeth rattle. "Human," the voices said, "you have crossed the boundary between realms. You stand now at the nexus of all things, the place where every universe meets and merges. This should not be possible. Your kind was never meant to reach this place." Marcus tried to speak, but his throat was dry. He swallowed hard and found his voice. "Where am I? What happened to me?" "You are beyond your universe now. The energy released in your world tore a hole in the fabric of reality. You fell through. You should have been destroyed, scattered across infinite dimensions. Yet here you stand, whole and alive. This is most unusual." Marcus looked around, trying to make sense of his situation. He was a physicist, a man of science. He had spent his whole life studying the nature of reality, but nothing in his training had prepared him for this. "Who are you?" he asked. "We are the Eternal Council. We watch over the multiverse. We maintain balance between all realities. We have existed since the first universe was born from the void, and we will exist until the last star fades to nothing. We are the guardians of all that is, was, and ever will be." As the voices spoke, shapes began to form in the distance. Massive figures of pure light, each one different from the others. Some looked like beings from myth and legend. Others were shapes that Marcus could not describe, things that his mind struggled to understand. There were 12 of them in total, arranged in a great circle around him. "You present us with a problem, human," one of the figures said. This voice was deeper than the others, heavy with ancient power. "Your presence here disrupts the natural order. Every moment you exist in this space, ripples spread through the fabric of reality. Universes tremble, dimensions shift. You are like a stone thrown into still water." Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. "What does that mean? What happens to me now?" Another figure spoke, this one with a voice like wind through leaves. "The law is clear. No mortal being may exist at the nexus. Those who arrive here by accident must be unmade. Their essence is scattered, returned to the cosmic void from which all things came. This is the way it has always been." "You want to kill me?" Marcus asked, his voice stronger now. Fear was giving way to something else. He had faced death before, in the war, in the lab when experiments went wrong. He had never been the kind of man who gave up easily. "Kill is not the correct word," the first figure said. "You would simply cease to be. No pain, no memory. You would return to the nothing that existed before your birth. It is not cruel, it is simply necessary." Marcus shook his head. "No, I do not accept that. There must be another way." The figures seemed to shift, exchanging looks that Marcus could not read. When they spoke again, there was something new in their voices. Curiosity, perhaps, or amusement. "You do not accept. Human, you misunderstand your position. You have no power here. You are less than an insect before us. Your entire species is but a brief flicker in the endless history of the multiverse. What can you possibly do to change your fate?" Marcus stood straighter. He was not a tall man, not particularly strong. He was 43 years old with gray in his hair and lines on his face, but there was steel in his eyes as he looked at the towering beings around him. "I am a human being," he said. "My kind has always found a way. When we were hunted by predators, we learned to make weapons. When disease struck us down, we created medicine. When the world seemed too big and too dangerous, we built cities and nations. Every problem we have ever faced, we have solved. Every obstacle we have overcome. You say I have no power here. Maybe that is true, but I am not going to simply accept death. If there is a way to survive, I will find it." Silence fell over the nexus. The great beings regarded Marcus with what might have been surprise. Finally, One of them spoke. This one had a voice like flowing water, gentle but with the power of a river behind it. In all the ages of our existence, we have seen many beings come to the Nexus, creatures of great power from realms beyond counting. None of them have ever spoken as you do. Most beg for mercy. Some try to fight. A few simply accept their fate with dignity. But you speak of finding another way. You speak as if the laws of the multiverse are just another problem to be solved. Are they not? Marcus asked. The beings fell silent again. Then slowly, they began to confer among themselves. Their voices rose and fell in a language that Marcus could not understand. It sounded like music and mathematics combined, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. After what felt like hours, the first figure spoke again. We have reached a decision, human. Your words have intrigued us. Your defiance has earned you a chance that has never before been offered to any mortal being. Marcus waited, holding his breath. The multiverse is vast beyond measure. It contains countless realms, each one different from the others. Some are ruled by beings of great power. Others are home to civilizations that have risen and fallen over billions of years. At the heart of the multiverse lies the origin point, the place where the first universe was born. If you can reach the origin point, if you can touch the source of all creation, you will be granted the right to exist at the Nexus. You will become something more than human. Something that belongs here. And if I fail, Marcus asked, then you will be unmade as the law demands. But at least you will have had your chance. At least you will have fought for your survival, as you say your kind has always done. Marcus nodded slowly. It was not much of a choice. Die now or attempt an impossible journey through the multiverse. But for him, there was really only one option. I accept, he said. The beings around him seemed to grow brighter, their forms shifting and changing. Then so be it, Marcus Cole of Earth. You will be the first mortal to attempt the journey of origins. You will face challenges beyond anything you have ever known. You will travel through realms where the laws of your universe do not apply. You will meet beings who will try to destroy you, and others who may help you if you can earn their trust. How long do I have? Marcus asked. Time has no meaning here at the Nexus. But in the realms you will travel through, time moves differently. You will have what feels like 1 year to complete your journey. If you have not reached the origin point by then, your existence will fade. You will simply stop being wherever you are. 1 year. Marcus thought about his life back on Earth. His wife had died 3 years ago. His children were grown and had their own lives. His work at the facility had been his whole world. Now that world was gone, replaced by something far stranger and more dangerous. I am ready, he said. The figure that had spoken first raised what might have been a hand. Then go, human. Begin your journey. May you find the strength you need. May your determination be enough to carry you through the darkness ahead. Light exploded around Marcus, filling his vision with colors that had no names. He felt himself falling, spinning through endless space. The Nexus disappeared behind him, and he plunged into the unknown depths of the multiverse. His journey had begun. Marcus landed hard on solid ground. The impact knocked the air from his lungs and sent pain shooting through his body. He lay still for a moment, gasping, trying to understand where he was. The sky above him was purple. 3 suns burned in the distance, one large and red, 2 smaller and blue. The ground beneath him was made of some kind of crystal that hummed with a faint vibration. Strange plants grew all around, with leaves of silver and stems of gold. Marcus pushed himself to his feet and looked around. He was in a vast valley, surrounded by mountains that seemed to be made of glass. In the distance, he could see what looked like a city, its towers reaching up toward the purple sky. First realm, he said to himself. 1 down, how many more to go? He started walking toward the city. He had no supplies, no weapons, nothing but the clothes he had been wearing when the explosion happened. A white lab coat, now dirty and torn, dark pants and comfortable shoes. Not exactly the gear for an adventure through the multiverse. As he walked, he noticed that the crystal ground seemed to respond to his footsteps. It glowed slightly wherever he stepped, then faded back to normal. The humming grew louder when he was near, as if the ground itself was aware of his presence. After what felt like hours of walking, Marcus finally reached the outskirts of the city. The buildings here were made of the same crystal as the ground, but shaped into elegant curves and spirals. They seemed to grow from the earth rather than being built on top of it. The streets were empty. Marcus walked through them, looking for any sign of life. The silence was strange and heavy, broken only by the sound of his own footsteps and the constant low hum of the crystal. Then he heard voices. They were coming from somewhere ahead, around a corner. Marcus moved carefully, not knowing what to expect. He peered around the edge of a building and saw them. Beings of light. That was the only way to describe them. They were vaguely humanoid in shape, but their bodies seemed to be made of pure energy. They glowed with soft colors, blues and greens and golds. There were about a dozen of them, gathered in what looked like a public square. One of them turned and saw Marcus. It let out a sound that was not quite a scream but not quite words either. The others turned as well, and suddenly all of them were staring at him. Marcus raised his hands, trying to show that he meant no harm. "Hello," he said. "I am a traveler. I do not know if you can understand me, but I mean you no harm." The beings exchanged looks. Then one of them, slightly larger than the others and glowing with a deep blue light, stepped forward. When it spoke, the words formed directly in Marcus's mind. "You are solid. You are matter. How is this possible? Nothing of matter has existed in our realm for 10,000 cycles." Marcus tried to think of how to explain his situation. "I came from another place, another realm. I am on a journey. I need to reach the origin point." A ripple passed through the group. The blue being seemed to glow brighter. "The origin point, that is a myth, a story from the ancient times. No living being has ever reached it." "I have to try," Marcus said. "It is the only way for me to survive." The being studied him for a long moment. "You are either very brave or very foolish, perhaps both. But there is something about you, solid one, a fire that burns inside you. Our kind lost that fire long ago when we shed our physical forms and became beings of pure energy." "Can you help me?" Marcus asked. "I need to find a way to the next realm. I need to continue my journey." The being seemed to consider this. "There is a gateway at the center of our city. It leads to other realms, though we have not used it in many cycles. But the path is dangerous. There are creatures in the spaces between realms, hungry things that feed on travelers." "I will face whatever I must," Marcus said. Something that might have been a smile crossed the being's face. "Come, solid one. I am called Zara in your tongue. I will take you to the gateway. Perhaps watching you begin your journey will remind my people of what it means to strive for something." Zara led Marcus through the crystal city. Along the way, other beings of light stopped to watch them pass. Word seemed to spread quickly, and soon there were hundreds of them lining the streets, their glow creating a soft rainbow of colors. "They are curious about you," Zara explained. "We have not seen a physical being in so long. You are strange to us but also fascinating." Marcus nodded, feeling the weight of all those eyes upon him. He had never been comfortable being the center of attention, but he pushed that discomfort aside. He had bigger problems to worry about. They reached the center of the city, where a great platform of crystal rose above the surrounding buildings. On top of the platform stood a massive ring, its surface covered with symbols that glowed and shifted. This was the gateway. "The gateway responds to thought," Zara said. "Think of where you need to go and it will open a path. But be warned, solid one. The journey between realms is not instant. You will pass through the void, a place of darkness and danger. Keep moving forward no matter what you see or hear. Stop for nothing. Turn back for nothing." I understand, Marcus said. He climbed the steps to the platform, feeling the crystal hum beneath his feet. When he reached the ring, he stopped and turned back to look at Zara. Thank you for your help, he said. Thank you for reminding us that there is still wonder in the multiverse, Zara replied. Go now, Marcus Cole. May you find what you seek. Marcus turned to face the gateway. He thought of the origin point, that mythical place at the heart of all creation. He thought of his determination, his refusal to simply accept death. He thought of every challenge he had ever faced and overcome. The gateway flared to life. Inside the ring, a swirling vortex of light and shadow appeared. Marcus took a deep breath, squared his shoulders, and stepped through. The void was everything Zara had warned him about. It was darkness, complete and absolute. There was no up or down, no left or right. There was only the black, pressing in on him from all sides. And then the voices started. Turn back, they whispered. You will fail, you are nothing. You are weak. You are mortal. How dare you think you can succeed where others have fallen? Marcus kept walking. He could not see where he was going, but he put one foot in front of the other, moving forward through the endless dark. Give up, the voices said. Rest, sleep. Let the darkness take you. It would be so easy. No more struggle, no more pain, just peace. Marcus shook his head, even though there was no one to see. No, I will not stop. I will not give in. Things moved in the darkness around him. He could feel them brushing against his clothes, whispering in his ears. Cold fingers seemed to touch his face, his hands, his neck. But he kept moving, kept pushing forward. Time lost all meaning. It might have been minutes or hours or days. Marcus walked until his legs burned and his feet ached. He walked until he could barely think, until his mind was numb with exhaustion. And then finally, he saw light ahead. He ran toward it, his tired legs finding new strength. The darkness tried to hold him back, grabbing at him with invisible hands, screaming at him to stop. But Marcus pushed through, reaching for the light with everything he had. He burst through into a new realm. This one was different from the last. The sky was orange, and the ground was covered with strange red plants that swayed in a wind he could not feel. In the distance, he could see mountains that seemed to be made of fire. Marcus fell to his knees, gasping for breath. He had made it. He had survived the void, one realm down, countless more to go. But for now, in this moment, he was alive, and as long as he was alive, he would keep fighting. The realm of fire was harsh and unforgiving. Marcus traveled for days across the red landscape, searching for water and food. He found strange fruits that grew on the swaying plants, and they gave him the energy to continue. He found streams of cool water that ran down from the fire mountains, protected by some unknown force from the heat above. On the third day, he encountered the first beings of this realm. They were warriors, tall and strong, with skin the color of copper and eyes that burned like coals. They surrounded him, pointing weapons at his chest, speaking in a language that sounded like crackling flames. Marcus raised his hands in surrender. He had no way to fight these beings. They were larger than him, stronger than him, and there were at least 20 of them. One of the warriors, the largest of the group, stepped forward. He studied Marcus with those burning eyes, then spoke in words that somehow Marcus could understand. You are not from this world. You are strange, weak, soft. How did you come here? Marcus explained his journey, his quest for the origin point. He told them about the Eternal Council and the challenge they had set before him. The warriors listened in silence, their expressions unreadable. When he finished, the leader laughed. It was not a cruel laugh, but one of genuine amusement. You seek the origin point. Little soft one, that place is guarded by the most powerful beings in all existence, creatures that can destroy worlds with a thought, and you think you, with your weak body and your strange clothes, can reach it. I have to try, Marcus said. It is the only choice I have. The leader studied him again, this time with something like respect in his burning eyes. You have fire in you, soft one. Not the fire of our bodies, but something else, a fire of the spirit. We have a word for it in our tongue: determination. He lowered his weapon and gestured for the others to do the same. I am Crag, war chief of the Burning Tribe. You will come with us to our village. You will rest and eat, and then we will help you continue your journey. Marcus bowed his head in gratitude. Thank you, I am Marcus Cole. The village of the Burning Tribe was built into the side of one of the fire mountains. The buildings were made of black stone that seemed to absorb the heat from the flames above. Inside, it was actually cool and comfortable. Marcus spent several days with the tribe. He learned about their history, their customs, their beliefs. They were a proud people who valued strength and honor above all else, but they also valued courage and determination, and they saw both of those qualities in their strange visitor. Crag told him stories of the other realms, places he would need to pass through to reach the origin point. Some were peaceful, filled with beings who valued knowledge and wisdom. Others were dangerous, ruled by creatures of darkness and destruction. The path is not straight, Crag explained. You cannot simply walk from here to the origin point. You must prove yourself in each realm. Each one will test you in a different way. Some will test your body, others will test your mind, and some will test your spirit. I understand, Marcus said. I will face whatever comes. When the time came for Marcus to leave, Crag gave him a gift. It was a small stone, black as night, that seemed to contain a tiny flame at its center. This is a heartstone, Crag said. It contains the fire of our people. When you feel cold or weak or afraid, hold it close. It will remind you of the fire within yourself, the fire that cannot be put out. Marcus took the stone and placed it in his pocket, close to his heart. I will carry it always. The gateway in this realm was at the top of the highest fire mountain. Marcus climbed for hours, the heat growing stronger with every step. But the heartstone seemed to protect him, keeping the worst of the heat at bay. At the summit he found the gateway. It was made of pure flame, a ring of fire that hung in the air with no visible support. Marcus took a deep breath and stepped through. The void was waiting for him again, but this time he was ready. He held the heartstone in his hand, feeling its warmth, and walked forward without fear. The next realm was one of water. An endless ocean stretched in every direction, with no land in sight. Marcus floated on the surface, looking for any sign of life. He found it beneath the waves, a great underwater city, filled with beings that were half fish and half something else. They swam around him with curiosity, their silver scales catching the light that filtered down from above. At first, Marcus thought he would drown, but then he realized that he could breathe the water as easily as air. The magic of the multiverse, perhaps, or maybe it was the heartstone protecting him once again. The beings of the water realm were suspicious of him at first. They had never seen a creature like Marcus before. But when he told them his story, when he spoke of his journey and his quest, they began to change their minds. You are brave, Landwalker, their queen said. She was a magnificent creature with scales of gold and eyes like deep pools of water. Our people value courage. We will help you on your way. She gave him a gift as well, a pearl that glowed with soft blue light. This will help you breathe in any realm, she said. It contains the essence of our ocean. And so Marcus continued his journey, moving from realm to realm. In each place he faced new challenges and met new beings. Some were hostile, attacking him on sight. Others were friendly, offering help and guidance. In a realm of eternal night, he battled creatures made of shadow. He won not with strength, for they had no bodies to strike, but with light. The heartstone blazed in his hand, driving back the darkness. In a realm of pure thought, he was tested by beings who existed only as minds. They challenged him with puzzles and riddles, trying to break his will. But Marcus had spent his life solving problems, and he answered every challenge they put before him. In a realm of chaos, where nothing was stable and everything changed from moment to moment, he learned to adapt. He stopped trying to understand the world around him and simply focused on moving forward. Months passed, or what felt like months. Time was strange in the multiverse, moving differently in each realm, but Marcus kept track as best he could, knowing that his time was limited. He collected more gifts along the way. A ring that made him invisible, given by a being of pure stealth. A cloak that protected him from any element, woven by creatures who lived in the spaces between worlds. A sword of light, forged by beings who had been fighting darkness since the beginning of time. With each realm he passed through, Marcus grew stronger, not just in body but in spirit. He learned to trust himself, to believe in his own abilities. He learned that determination could overcome any obstacle, that the will to survive was the most powerful force in the multiverse. And slowly, step by step, he drew closer to the origin point. The final realm before the origin point was the most dangerous of all. It was called the Realm of Trials, and it was ruled by a being known only as the Guardian. Marcus stood at the entrance to this realm, looking out at the landscape before him. It was a place of extremes, where fire and ice existed side by side, where light and darkness battled for control. Mountains rose and fell in the distance, as if the land itself was alive and breathing. "You have come far, human." The voice came from everywhere and nowhere. Marcus looked around but saw no one. "Show yourself," he said. The air before him shimmered, and a figure appeared. It was tall, taller than any being Marcus had encountered on his journey. Its body seemed to be made of all elements combined, shifting from fire to water to earth to air and back again. Its face was human, but its eyes contained the light of 1,000 stars. "I am the Guardian," the being said. "I stand between all things and the origin point. None have ever passed me. None have ever been worthy." Marcus stood his ground. He had faced too many challenges to be scared now. "I must reach the origin point. It is the only way for me to survive." "Survival is not enough," the Guardian said. "Many have come to me seeking survival. Many have been desperate, afraid, willing to do anything to continue existing. They were all found wanting. Survival alone does not make one worthy." "Then what does?" Marcus asked. The Guardian studied him with those star-filled eyes. "That is what the trials will reveal. You will face 3 tests. If you pass all 3, you may proceed to the origin point. If you fail any one of them, you will be destroyed." Marcus nodded. "I am ready." "The first trial is the trial of truth," the Guardian said. The landscape around them changed, becoming a simple white room with no doors or windows. "You must answer 3 questions with absolute honesty. If you lie, even once, you fail." "Ask," Marcus said. "Why do you seek the origin point? What is your true purpose?" Marcus thought carefully before answering. At first, it was about survival. "I did not want to die, but now it is about something more. I want to prove that humans can accomplish anything. I want to show that our determination can overcome any obstacle. I want to be worthy of this chance I have been given." The Guardian seemed to accept this answer. "Second question, what is your greatest fear?" This was harder. Marcus had to look deep within himself. "My greatest fear is that I will fail. Not death itself, but the thought that I might come this far and still not be enough. That all my effort, all my struggle will mean nothing in the end." "And the final question, what would you sacrifice to reach the origin point?" Marcus thought of everything he had been through, the friends he had made along the way, the gifts they had given him, the person he had become. "Everything," he said, "but not because I do not value these things, because I value the journey itself, because every sacrifice I have made has been worth it, and because I trust that whatever happens next, I will face it with the same determination I have shown until now." The white room faded away. They were back in the realm of trials. "You have passed the first trial," the Guardian said. "The second trial is the trial of combat." The landscape changed again. Now they stood in a vast arena surrounded by walls of fire. Before Marcus appeared a warrior, a perfect mirror image of himself. But this version was different. It was stronger, faster, younger. It wore armor and carried a sword that gleamed with deadly light. "This is your shadow self," the Guardian explained. "It is everything you could have been if you had made different choices. It represents your potential fully realized. You must defeat it to pass." Marcus drew the sword of light he had been given. It felt good in his hand, but he knew he was outmatched. His shadow self was better than him in every physical way. The battle began. The shadow self attacked with incredible speed and skill. Marcus defended as best he could, but he was driven back step by step. He took wounds, small cuts that stung and bled. His body grew tired. His arms grew heavy. But Marcus had learned something on his journey. He had learned that raw power was not the only path to victory. He had learned that determination, patience, and adaptability could overcome superior strength. He stopped trying to match his shadow self blow for blow. Instead, he watched. He waited. He studied his opponent's movements, looking for patterns, for weaknesses. And he found one. The shadow self was powerful, but it was also predictable. It fought the same way every time, using the same combinations, the same strategies. It was a reflection of potential, but it had never actually faced real challenges. It had never learned to adapt. Marcus changed his approach. He started moving in ways his shadow self did not expect. He used tricks he had learned in the realm of chaos, where nothing was predictable. He used the ring of invisibility to disappear and reappear in unexpected places. Slowly the tide of battle turned. The shadow self became confused, uncertain. Its perfect form began to falter, and finally Marcus saw his opening. He did not strike with his sword. Instead, he dropped it. He walked forward, directly toward his shadow self, and placed his hand on its chest. "You are a part of me," he said. "You represent what I could have been. But I am who I am because of my journey, because of my struggles, because of every mistake I made and every lesson I learned. I do not need to destroy you. I need to accept you." The shadow self froze. Its form began to dissolve, becoming light that flowed into Marcus's body. He felt a surge of energy, of power. Not the raw strength of his shadow self, but something else. A sense of wholeness, of completion. The arena faded away. The Guardian was watching him with what might have been approval. "You have passed the second trial in a way no one has before," the Guardian said. "Most try to destroy their shadow self with force. You chose acceptance. You chose integration. This speaks well of you." "And the third trial?" Marcus asked. "The third trial is the trial of sacrifice," the Guardian said. The landscape changed one final time. Now they stood at the edge of a great cliff, looking out at a vast emptiness. In the distance, Marcus could see something. A point of light brighter than anything he had ever seen. The origin point. "To reach the origin point, you must give up everything you have gained on your journey," the Guardian said. "Every gift, every power, every memory of the beings who helped you. You must arrive at the origin point as you began, with nothing but yourself." Marcus felt his heart sink. The heartstone, the pearl, the ring, the cloak, the sword, all the gifts that had been given to him with love and hope, he would have to give them up. And the memories, Zara and her people, Crag and the burning tribe, the queen of the water realm, all the beings he had met, all the friends he had made. Would he forget them all? He thought about refusing, but then he remembered his answer to the third question of the trial of truth. He had said he would sacrifice everything, and he had meant it. "I accept," he said. One by one, the gifts he had collected began to glow and fade away. The heartstone with its tiny flame, the pearl with its soft blue light, the ring, the cloak, the sword, each one disappeared, returning to the beings who had given them. And then the memories began to fade. The faces of his friends blurred and vanished. Their names slipped from his mind. The details of his journey became vague, like a dream upon waking. But something remained: the lessons he had learned, the strength he had gained, the determination that had carried him through every challenge. These things could not be taken from him because they were part of who he was. The Guardian nodded slowly. "You have passed the final trial. You have proven yourself worthy. Go now to the origin point, Marcus Cole. Claim your place in the multiverse." Marcus stood at the edge of the cliff, looking at the origin point. It was so close now, yet it seemed impossibly far away. The emptiness between him and that brilliant light stretched on forever. He had no gifts left, no magic to help him cross, just his body, his mind, and his will. "How do I reach it?" he asked the Guardian. "That is for you to discover," the Guardian replied. "The path to the origin point is different for everyone. Some have tried to fly, others have tried to build bridges, all have failed. Perhaps you will find a way that they could not." Marcus looked at the emptiness. He thought about everything he had been through, every realm he had crossed, every challenge he had faced. What had been the common thread through all of it? Determination, the refusal to give up, the decision to take the next step no matter how impossible it seemed. He walked to the very edge of the cliff. He looked down and saw nothing. No bottom, no safety net, just endless void. And then he stepped forward. He did not fall. His foot found something solid beneath it, something that had not been there a moment before. He looked down and saw a path, made of pure light, stretching out before him. "I understand now," he said softly. "The path does not exist until you decide to walk it. It is created by the act of moving forward." He took another step and another. The path of light extended before him with each step he took. Behind him, the Guardian watched in silence. The journey to the origin point was long. Each step required focus, determination, belief. There were moments when Marcus felt his confidence waver and the path beneath him flickered. But he pushed those doubts aside and kept walking. As he drew closer to the origin point, he began to see things. Visions of other universes, other realities. He saw worlds that were just being born and worlds that were dying. He saw beings of incredible power and beings of simple beauty. He saw the entire multiverse spread out before him, infinite and magnificent. And finally, after what felt like an eternity, he reached the origin point. It was not what he expected. He had imagined something grand, something overwhelming. But the origin point was simply a small sphere of light, no larger than his fist. It floated before him, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. "You have come," a voice said. It was not like the voices of the Eternal Council or the Guardian. It was quiet and warm, like a parent speaking to a child. "I am the source, the beginning of all things. I have been waiting for someone like you for a very long time." "What happens now?" Marcus asked. "Now you choose. You have proven yourself worthy to exist at the Nexus. But that is only one option. You could also return to your home, to Earth, with the knowledge and power you have gained. Or you could stay here at the origin point and help me guide the multiverse." Marcus thought about this. He thought about his life on Earth, the work he had done, the people he had known. He thought about the Nexus, where beings of unimaginable power watched over reality. And he thought about the origin point, the source of everything. "There is something else I want," he said. "Tell me." "I want to remember the friends I made on my journey, the beings who helped me, the gifts they gave me. I gave them up to reach you, but they were important. They mattered." The source seemed to smile, though it had no face. "That is a good wish, a kind wish. Very well, your memories will be returned to you. And more than that, the bonds you formed during your journey will remain. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, those connections will endure." Marcus felt warmth spreading through his body. Memories flooded back. Zara and her people of light, Crag and the burning tribe, the queen of the water realm, all the beings he had met, all the friends he had made. They were part of him again. "And now," the source said, What is your choice? Marcus thought for a long moment. I want to go back, he said finally. Not to Earth, but to the multiverse. I want to travel between realms. I want to help others the way others helped me. There are beings out there facing challenges they cannot overcome alone. I want to be there for them. A noble choice, the source said. So be it. You will be the wanderer Marcus Cole, the first human to walk freely between realities, the first mortal to earn a place in the eternal order of things. Go forth and carry with you the fire that burns in your heart, the fire that never goes out. Light surrounded Marcus, lifting him, transforming him. He felt himself becoming something new, not quite human anymore, but not losing his humanity either. He was still himself with all his memories and all his determination, but now he was more. When the light faded, he stood at the nexus once again. The Eternal Council was there, watching him with their ancient eyes. You have done the impossible, the first voice said. You have reached the origin point. You have earned your place among us. I am not staying here, Marcus said. I have a different purpose now. We know, another voice said. The source has told us of your choice. It is a good one. The multiverse needs beings like you, beings who care, beings who refuse to give up. Marcus nodded. Before I go, I have something to say. Speak. You said that humans were just a brief flicker in the history of the multiverse, that we were less than insects before you, but I have proven that you were wrong. Not because I am special, but because I am human. My kind has always found a way. We have always overcome, and we always will. The council was silent for a long moment. Then slowly, they began to bow. One by one, the most powerful beings in existence lowered their heads before the lone human standing in their midst. Perhaps we underestimated your kind, the first voice said. Perhaps there is more to humanity than we realized. Go forth, wanderer. Show the multiverse what humans can do. Marcus smiled. He thought of all the realms he had visited, all the beings he had met. He thought of the friends waiting for him across the multiverse. He thought of the adventures still to come. He was Marcus Cole, the Wanderer, the first human to defy the multiverse, the man who had created a path to victory through nothing but his own determination. And his story was only beginning. He raised his hand in farewell to the council, and then he was gone, stepping into the infinite possibilities of the multiverse. Somewhere in a realm of crystal and light, Zara looked up and felt a familiar presence approaching. In the realm of fire, Crag laughed and reached for his weapons, ready for adventure. In the realm of water, the queen smiled and called her guards to prepare a welcome. The wanderer was coming, and wherever he went, hope followed. Because that was what humans did. They carried hope into the darkness. They refused to give up, no matter the odds. They faced impossible challenges and found ways to win. Marcus Cole had proven it. A lone human had defied the multiverse, and determination had created a path to victory. Humanity had earned its place among the stars.